Hello, this is Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs. Visit us online at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook or at urbanyoga.org on the web browser. Check out the schedule of daily classes online and stop by the tip chart where you can contribute to support the classes that we offer here. Today, I'll be doing a shorter video. We didn't have any students log in to join me on Zoom. So we use those opportunities to make shorter segments for the folks who access our classes on YouTube, because sometimes you don't have an hour. You want to just do something shorter, something more focused. And I'll be talking today about taking care of your lower back, which is it's an area that a lot of us have issues with. And there are some things we can do to help out our lower back and to still access a practice. It can still be a full body practice. And the key here is in modifying. Now, if you've ever taken class with me or watched a video with me before, you know that there's always an open invitation at the start of practice. As we ground and settle, I invite you to listen to your body and encourage you to do so throughout practice, exercising the freedom to skip or modify any part of the practice. Now, you probably take yoga classes, follow videos with other folks, and maybe you don't hear that invitation every time. What I suggest doing is always give yourself that invitation, that freedom, even if it's not explicitly stated. Your practice is yours. You'll have your practice on your mat, and the other person will have their practice on their mat. You are not them, and they are not you. So even if it's not stated, please skip or modify anything you want to, because it's your practice, and we're not all the same. So the lower back is a place where a lot of us have trouble. I have a tight spot right there. That's what I'm giving a little massage to, checking in with the body there. So first off, even when it comes to a simple thing like the starting position of a practice, so your teacher might say, we're going to start seated. And maybe you don't feel comfortable sitting. So you can try sitting in a different way. Sometimes just crossing your legs the other way can make a big difference. You can elevate your seats. I have some blocks here right now. I'm just sitting on the floor. You can sit on a folded blanket. You could sit on a pillow or bolster. I like to sit on these two blocks next to each other and sit on the forward edge of the block, giving a side view to show what that looks like. And for me, this allows the legs to come into a pretty comfortable position where they're not really crossed. One is in front of the other. And that's just how it works out with my feet and legs. But sitting on the forward edge of the block here, what this does is it lets my pelvis tilt forward, and this lets the lower part of the spine sort of drop down. So it can undo this compressed feeling in here. And already that tight spot on my back feels way better. And I haven't done anything. I haven't done any movements, any sequences, any tricky posture. Just changed the way I'm sitting, and the back feels a lot better already. And be mindful too that comfortable can be a moving target. So you might find a seat that's comfortable, and then you're spending whatever it is, 3, 4, 5 minutes sitting to start out. Maybe after a minute, it's not as comfortable. So change. Follow comfortable. Follow that moving target. So you can always change. You don't have to be a statue. Finding stillness is not about statue practice. And maybe sitting up just doesn't feel good at all. So you can feel free to change it up further. So skip sitting, say, when the lower back is feeling tender, what can feel really nice sometimes is grounding the lower back. So you can lie down on your back. I'll give a side view here because I'm realizing a better chance of you seeing what I'm describing. So if you come down like this, onto your back. This takes compression out of the lower back to have the feet planted. And you can let the knees, you can scoot your heels out and your toes in a bit and let your knees lean towards each other. And this just allows your legs to be a little more passive. Another thing you might try is to bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees spread open. And if you opt for that, it might feel nice to prop your legs up with blocks or something else. Anything could be a prop, so if you don't have yoga blocks, maybe it's a rolled up towel or a throw pillow, something else. A rolled up yoga mat can be a nice prop. So this is a little more active, especially through here in the hips. But it's also got some degree of that grounding in the lower back. Not as much grounding as you get here with the soles of the feet. And transitions are key. So as I come out of this, now you might be tempted to like do a sit up and really use your core, which includes that lower back, but you can be more gentle, give your back a break by coming onto your side and using your arms to lift yourself up. So the back really didn't do much work there at all. And some other things that we do typically as part of a warming up sequence where we start sitting. I'll come back to the side view, and actually I'll come back onto my blocks. And just give a side view of some things you've probably seen me do a lot if you have been in my class or watched these videos before, but maybe you're just used to a head-on view of it. So I'll give the side view and a further breakdown. So often we come into this full sequence of side bends and twists as part of a warming up. So hands out at the side, just the fingertips on the ground. So see, I'm staying long in the spine. You inhale, reach an arm up alongside the ear. You exhale, reach towards the other side. So the downhill arm is supporting us, and the upper arm is reaching through the fingertips. So feeling the length from the hip up through the fingertips. So we call it a side bend, and it helps open the side body with a force, which is getting into the muscles to the back as well. Inhaling, we come up to center. Exhaling, we come into this twist like this. This hand comes down behind, other hand comes over to up to the leg. So here too, just like with the side bend, I'm just putting the fingertips on the ground, staying long in the spine. Inhale, we lengthen up, feel the spine, telescope is along still. Exhale, invite your body to twist some more. So the side view is very helpful here. Just watching myself on screen, like in the mirror. And just see how much twist feels like enough, listening to the body, particularly to those trouble spots. That part of the back that is feeling tender today. So I don't have to go as far as I possibly can. I go as far as it feels helpful. Ease out some of that excessive tension that's in there. And we do just about everything twice, right, to keep the body balanced. So I'll come into my other side bend, and now you can see what the downhill arm is doing, letting the shoulder drop down away from the ear, leaning into the hand, adjusting hand position as needed. Inhaling, we come up. Exhaling, we come into the twist, fingertips, just finding the ground. You could even put a block under your hands here to make sure you stay long in the spine, yet have your hands pointed, supporting you. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, see about twisting some more. And letting each side be different. If there's a trouble spot or more than one trouble spot, maybe one side goes further than the other. That's totally fine. We want to explore resistance, gently probing against it, but we're not trying to push past pain, push through, and force anything. Pain's an important signal that we should heed. Come off the block now, and fix you again. And it's hot here, so I'll keep sipping the water, which is good for your everything, good for those tight spots in the muscles, good for the joints, good for the skin. Either cow and cat pose. The thing to modify here is the degree of movement. Listen to that trouble spot. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head tip back. Exhale, draw your heart back, let your head tip forward. So maybe one is way bigger than the other. So here today, what's going on in my back is that cow movement with the heart coming forward is a lot smaller than usual. And the cat movement going back is nice and big. And maybe, yeah, see now the cow movement is getting bigger with repetition as you ease out some of that tension in the trouble spot. And another thing we can always do is to play around and change up the movement. So here we can add a circular movement into this cow cat breath. Inhaling forward, I go to one side, exhaling back, I go towards the other side. And there's a plant poking me. So I shift forward away from the lovely plant. Our wonderful landlady is a huge plant lover. So like a nursery school with all these seedlings in the corner. Like maybe they're not even seedlings anymore. Getting big enough to maybe go to other pots. So these like starter bags. And change direction. So my lower back trouble spot is getting better and better with each exploratory sequence, with each repetition of these movements. When it comes time to come out of your sitting posture and make your way up onto your hands and knees, or to standing in a forward fold, or to standing all the way up. Remember to use other parts of the body to help the back. So we talked about strengthening our core, and a lot of people think core means abs, it means that whatever, washboard for a six pack, but this is your core. Your core is like a belt. Think of those like weightlifting belts or lumbar support belts. You might see someone who lifts things in their work wearing a support belt. That's all your core, this whole thing. So yes, strengthening these will help these, but using the limbs are also a great way to support yourself, especially if there's some pain or tenderness going on. So instead of tripping forward to the bottom of my hands and knees, use my arms. And then my back is doing less when I make that transition. Same thing too, when I go to stand, and maybe we use blocks. Now you can stand from hands and knees into a forward fold with or without blocks. The blocks like bring the ground closer to your hands and give you more room to move those legs. And then bonus, when you stand to your forward fold, you have blocks to hold you, and maybe they're taller, maybe they're lower, but you can put a lot of weight on your hands here, and every bit of weight in your hands is taking some of the load out of your back. And just as if your hands were hanging in the air, you can bend one leg and then the other, and you can sway back and forth here and do different things. And maybe as the tight spot opens more, you lower the blocks, set them aside, just see how everything feels.
When it's time to stand up, you don't have to rely on your back. So we might go from here to a half lift, then back down, and then up to standing using all the legs and core. But you can also use your arms for support. You can sort of walk your hands up your legs, even to come to your half lift. But you can walk up. Standing like that, you don't have to do this and use the back more. You can use your back less by using the arms more. And always when you're coming from a full to stand, let the legs do the work. The more work the legs do, the less work the back is doing. So that's key too. So allowing yourself the freedom to modify things throughout and get inventive. You don't have to limit yourself to things that I've told you either. Listening to your body, being aware of what's going on, pausing or stopping whenever you need to. Like, okay, that didn't feel good. What else can I do? And figure something else out. And you can always change your mind. You know, you might go to do something that you've done 1,000 times and you think it's fine, and suddenly it's not. Just stop. It's okay. You're not going to get in trouble. Taking care of your body. By disregarding pain signals, trying to force our way through resistance, that's where we can get into trouble and can make whatever's going on worse, can make it take longer to heal if we're not taking care of ourselves. So always, 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 please, even if you're not invited to by that teacher in that moment, feel free to skip or modify any part of any practice that you're doing. Really, there are very few musts in the practice, and often related to things of safety. We'll tell you when you come to tree pose, you can have your foot here or here on your calf or here on your thigh, and we'll say, don't press sideways on your knee. That's a must. You really don't want to press your knee that way because your knee is meant to move this way. It's not going to like going that way. So that's one of the few musts. You know, if you're in a lunge, and a lot of them have to do with knee. We'll tell you with your center of gravity this high not to send the forward knee further out than the forward ankle because you can hyperextend your knee. So that's a must in my book, the way I just taught those things. For me, the biggest must is to listen to your body, to modify or skip anything you need to, and find the practice that's best for you. You must take care of you. Thanks for being here. That's all for today, and I'll see you next time.